ladies, I'm going to work on my Slack issue here, see what kind of latitude I have from the monitor. I thought what would be cool is to have some photos behind me at the same time. I'm going to be talking a lot about my mom over the next few minutes. I want you to be able to see what my mom looks like over the last couple of years, and certainly farther back than that. But just so you know, every now and then, if you're interested in looking at the screen, feel free to. I've practiced my speech a couple times. I think the third time is the charm, right? Is that what they say? So hopefully this one will be a good one. Thank you so much for having me, number one. I would say I'm humbled and I'm honored to be here, and I'm thrilled to spend a little bit of time with you. For a second, I'd like to highlight just a couple of the ladies in the room because they're very near and dear to me, and this event could not get off without them, and they need to be acknowledged. Pam Kolinski first. You've heard from Pam. Oh, yes. That was nice. That felt good. Alexa Tipton. Alexa, I know she may be floating in and out. She's sort of a technological guru here. She helped me work out the kinks in my PowerPoint prior. I came here after work and my PowerPoint could not be found. And they couldn't find it. But anyway, we rectified that, so that was nice. Also want to thank Melissa Mickelson. Melissa Mickelson, I just met her this evening. And Melissa, the pleasure is on this end, so great to meet you. Great to be with you for a couple of minutes tonight. My dear friends, Nick and Chris Schirripa. I love Nick and Chris Schirripa. Nick is working at Wings West right now. What do you say, he's keeping time, right?
Yes.
He's keeping time for a hockey game. So Nick is here with us in spirit, and Chris is over to your left if you're looking towards the front of the room, towards the left. Chris, thank you so much. I also want to thank Webster's for having us. What a fabulous, cozy place, right? Doesn't this feel good? We've got, we've got hardwood floors, we've got a fireplace, an open bar. What could be wrong, right? And lastly, I want to thank Katie Debiak. Do I have that right? Katie Debiak. Katie sort of fine-tuned my PowerPoint for me and made it better, simply. So, Katie, thank you. One last round of applause for Katie. So I think I'll start with this sentence, and I think this is the most powerful sentence that I'll begin with. I tried to choose my language very carefully when I wrote this. The last thing I want to do is waste your time. My mom is the strongest person I know. Cancer has struck our family twice. I'll give you the details on that as we go forward. But my mom is the strongest person I know. Of course, we have a great family, and I love my family. My mom is on the left. Obviously. And I am celebrating my second birthday here. I don't know what the heck is going on in this photo, but anyway, I have it with me as sort of a little memento during this. Let's say this: cancer is in every family. Cancer does not discriminate. Cancer doesn't know if you're having a bad day. Cancer doesn't know if you're upset. Cancer doesn't know if you're tired. Cancer doesn't know if you're mad, or if you're having a good day. What I'm trying to say is cancer affects all of us. My mom battled cancer first in 1990 when I was turning roughly 9. And again, most recently in the last couple of weeks, I spent the last week at home during her surgery, which has a happy ending, but I don't want to get sappy on you right now. And I told myself several times I would not break down. So I'm trying to keep that going as long as I can. So I love listening to my mom. You know, she always says the right things. She always says the right words. Always trying to tell me to be kinder and gentler than I need to be, and always trying to guide me down the right path. So I get home on Tuesday of last week, and my mom's surgery is going to be on Wednesday. And the first thing my mom said to me is, "Jeffrey, all I want to do is get on the other side. I just want to get on the other side of this." And she said it over and over, and we said it over and over during the process and the procedure, and there were actually 2 procedures, and we'll get into those details also. But, I mean, that really resonated with me. I just want to get on the other side, and we're emotional and sensitive people, particularly are emotional and sensitive to these kinds of subjects and these kinds of things, but that line really resonated with me. All right, time for picture 2. Let's move to picture 2. So I think I'm in college here. I went to school at Penn State. My sister is just to my right. She's in high school. She was always better looking. Always better looking. My dad is 6'4" and my mom is 5'4", but she'll tell you she's shrinking now. So anyway, we'll set the scene on that for a moment. So 1990, you know, a lot of the details in 1990, I'm a little fuzzy on them, but the details of the now and present, or the here and present, are very clear to me. There are tremendous advances in technology in fighting breast cancer over the last 25 years. I cannot be more explicit in the advances that we have made in the scientific community. The advances in anesthesia. In 1990, my mom was knocked out for days after her immediate surgery. It was on her left side, it was a mastectomy. And we didn't realize at the time that she was allergic, or her body did not get along to narcotics. So giving her narcotics to deal with pain was not the right solution. But we're not doctors. It took us time to figure that out, right? Time to figure that out. Anyway, fast forward to 2016. The cocktail that they put together for her to get through this procedure was great. She was awake afterwards and semi-lucid, and for her that felt like such a gift, you know, to be able to be aware and cognizant of what's going on. So here's what's happening. We went to the Fox Chase Cancer Center. The Fox Chase Cancer Center. They're not just in Philadelphia. I'm from Philadelphia. This would be on the north side of Philadelphia, but they're all over the country. What's great about the Fox Chase Cancer Center is they only focus on cancer. They're not a hospital that treats other things or all sorts of other illnesses. Their singular focus is cancer. And I think what's great about being myopic, what's great about being focused, is you do something and you do it well, and you do it extremely, extremely well. We were able to see that and realize that during the last week, and certainly even up till today. There's a little vignette I'll paint at the very end of this that also helps to sort of the happy ending that we have here. I want to talk for a moment, and we'll switch to, I've got two pictures here. We'll go to the next picture. So my sister is graduating from LaSalle in this one. So LaSalle's in Philadelphia. It looks like I've got red eye. I do. Never take a good picture, ever. Ever. Anyway, my sister's graduating from LaSalle. We refer to it now as the 5-year program that everyone's on, right? Not 4 years, but the 5-year program. My sister is a teacher in the suburbs of Philadelphia. She teaches middle school autistic kids. You talk about the patience to do that, and it's absolutely incredible. So my mom and dad were at a wedding for neighbors of ours, longtime friends. My family is still friends with the mom and dad here. And I thought it was such a great idea. During the wedding, they had a photo booth. So it is, you know, you go in during the course of the wedding, you take some photos. It's tough to make my dad smile. I mean, it's like impossible to get him to smile. Anyway, I think we succeeded there at the end. So a little backstory on that. So the diagnosis is huge, right? The initial diagnosis, you're overcome, you're upset, you don't know what to do, you have a million emotions, your mind is racing. And that's totally understandable. Anyone would be in that position when you have that initial diagnosis. The initial diagnosis is not necessarily the end game. This was particularly true with my mom. So we found out a couple of months ago that my mom had, and if you were to look at your hand or look at your fingernail, just a little dark spot on her right breast. Remember, her left was in 1990, so it was the right one this time. You know, less than a fingernail, just a little dark spot, like almost innocuous, right? Like you could almost overlook it. That was with an initial mammogram. Now, my mom has been in remission for about 24 years prior to this last couple of months ahead of us. So the fact that she found something again after being in remission for so long, you can understand how troubling that would be. So the beauty of technology is, you know, a mammogram just sort of tells you one story, but a lot of times there are 2 sides to a story, or 3 or 4 sides to a story. So by the guidance of her doctors, and she had 2 great doctors, 2 really great doctors, but the guidance of her doctor said, listen, why don't we get an ultrasound so we can sort of take another look at the situation. They also have 3D mammography these days, right? 3D mammography. But in the ultrasound, what we found is it wasn't just something like the size of again, your fingernail, a little dark spot. This time it was something different. It was almost, and I want to be very specific in the language that I use here, but it almost looked like tree trunks or something that had roots. So what they were seeing now, didn't see this in the mammogram, had to go to the ultrasound to figure out that there was something else actually going on. I'll tell you the final diagnosis. She got her final lab results today. We talked on the phone and we had a breakdown. You know, we had a happy breakdown, but we had a breakdown. But so what I'm trying to say is, not just a mammogram, but the extra steps that you want to take if you think you're unsure, even if it ends up finding nothing at all, you want to have that assurance. I mean, assurance is huge in life, and certainly huge in this particular situation. Okay. Was that a YouTube video? I think that we have it. That's okay, you're fine. I will also tell you this, when my mom was in recovery the next day, I spent the whole next day with her. So this was last Thursday, so a week from today. And it was like we were on a date. You know, we hung out, we ordered food together on the hospital menu. We walked in the hallway because it was a big deal for her to get up and walk around because she was trying to get her strength back. You know, you go under anesthesia, and it's not like it's gone in a couple of days. You go under anesthesia, it's in your body for weeks. I mean, weeks. It takes just a long time to pump that out of your body. But anyway, I felt so lucky to be with her in that moment. So we were surprised in this moment because one of my mom's sister's best friend had a double mastectomy very recently, and she came and surprised my mom with flowers, and she visited us. This is me on my 30th birthday, by the way. Yesterday, thank you. God bless you. So she came and talked to my mom. It was so uplifting. Like, my mom didn't expect her, and we didn't expect to see her. And what she described about her double mastectomy was this. She said she did sort of the self-diagnosis, and she found what she thought was a lump, and upon further diagnosis, it was something that actually had blood pumping through it. It was such a sophisticated development, it actually had blood moving through it, you know? So I'm speaking to the tree trunks thing that was referring to my mom, but also my sister's friend from teaching, and these things look very different once you look beyond the mammogram. So I want to get a little nerdy for a second. You may have heard a lot about genetic testing and the importance of genetic testing. You know, are your kids going to have blue eyes, or are they going to have this, or are they going to have that? I mean, you can sort of figure out all sorts of things these days, and that's huge. The power of information is huge. Sometimes information can be comforting, and sometimes information can be scary, right? There's two specific genes that we're looking at. The first one is BRCA1, and the second one is BRCA2, right? And what we found out, and I thought it was very forward-thinking of my mom, very forward-thinking to get the genetic testing. She wasn't just doing it for her, she was doing it for my sister, right? Because if my sister has this, that ultimately changes her life completely, right? It's important to have that information. So my mom determined through genetic testing and through the wonders of science that she did not have the BRCA gene, Listen to this sentence for a moment. I mean, this is extremely powerful. Knowing that she did not have that gene, all of a sudden, just because my sister has a greater chance of having breast cancer because my mom has it, but knowing that she does not have the gene, knowing that her chances of getting breast cancer are less than 12%. That's huge. I mean, that's absolutely huge. It doesn't mean my sister doesn't need to be vigilant, doesn't mean she doesn't need to have mammograms every year, or whatever she decides to do, but that information I think is huge. So I did want to speak to that for a moment. Okay, so we're at the beach. We go to the Jersey Shore. I'm from Philadelphia. My mom doesn't like to travel, so the easiest way to get to the beach is to go to Jersey. I'm not talking about Jersey you see on MTV. I'm talking about nice, clean Jersey, and there are very few spaces that look like this. So prior to this photo, I was growing a beard because I was on vacation, and my mom said, listen, I'd like to take a family photo. I need you to shave your beard, and that was a sticking point for me. Anyway, you see, she ultimately won, right? So anyway, this is at the beach in Jersey. But I just want to kind of get emotional for a second, if I could, if that's all right. It is always a beautiful time to be alive. It is always an important time to be here. It's important to breathe. It's important to think. It's important to interact. Listen. By virtue of the fact that you are alive, you are doing all of these things. What a beautiful day to be doing all these things right now. And what a beautiful moment to be spending together. Please do not forget how beautiful and important that is. You're important, you're special, and you're valued. You might not know it, you might not think it, but I'm going to tell you something right now. That this is the only thing you take away from tonight, outside of the pink drinks. Bartender, thank you. You might not know it, but your coworkers know it. Your family knows it. Your friends know it. You're important, and you're special, and you're valued, and you will always be as long as you're breathing, and thinking, and listening, and interacting. All right, let's get happy. So we're running a race at the Jersey Shore in this photo, and I have to wear my shirt that says, yes, there really is a Kalamazoo. My mom is not interested in running, but she's the best cheerleader in the world. So here we are pre-race, and she's saying I'm number one. This was the day I actually followed the course correct. The year prior, I ran the 7-mile run instead of the 5K. After the 4th mile, I walked and ripped off my number. So, some of my friends say I'm the most positive person they've ever met. I really believe in positivity. I believe in the power of your mental mind frame and your mental chemistry, your brain chemistry. I always try to look at the positive side. My mom always tries to tell me to take the high road and to do the right thing. I'm speaking about your attitude for a second because your attitude is absolutely enormous. It is absolutely enormous. Why is it enormous? Because if you have a positive attitude, you are priming your immune system to go into battle. You're setting up your immune system in the right ways to go in there and do the things that it has to do, to find the free radicals, to find the cancer cells, and to neutralize them. If you have a positive attitude, if you have a positive outlook, you are setting up your immune system to do that. I want to tell you how important that is. I can't say that enough.
Yeah.
My near and dear friend, he's sort of a second dad to me, his name is Bruce Smith. We golfed together at Ridgeview. He's a better golfer than I am. He had throat cancer a couple of years ago and is now in remission. And I asked Bruce before my mom went through her procedure last week, I said, Bruce, just kind of talk to me a little bit about your mindset before your surgery. And he said, well, I just treated it like it was any other day. It was something that I had to do. I would go through and do this, and then we would move on. I thought that was very powerful. I also want to speak to my coworker at Channel 3. His name is Rick Kleiman. He works in sales. He's one of these. Rick Kleiman just found out yesterday that he's cancer-free. He also had throat cancer, so... Yeah. So my mom believes and has taught me the power of writing thank you notes and writing to people when you're thankful and you're appreciative, right? An email is easy, a text is easy, but it takes time to write a card. It takes time to put it in the mailbox and find the stamp and do all those kinds of things and find the right words. You want to write something inside the card, right? Of course, it could be a great card, but you really want to put your personal stamp on that. So I go to the kitchen, and this is Tuesday before the surgery. The procedure was last Wednesday. And my mom had so many cards in the kitchen, so many cards, and it was great to see that outpouring of love, and it was great for her to see that. Because it wasn't just her going into battle, it was her team. We had a team together. We were going to do this together. So I want to speak to the power of that. I also want to speak to the power of prayer. My mom is a very religious person, and I told her about my two friends I just referenced, Bruce Smith and Rick Kleiman. Both had throat cancer. Again, both are in remission now. She said, don't worry about it, Jeff. I'm going to put them on a prayer list. They're going to go on the prayer list. I'm just going to do that. My mom has a list of people she prays for every day. I think that's important that she takes that seriously, and the fact that she takes it seriously, it's a good thing. I mean, it's a great thing. So I volunteer at the Kalamazoo Loaves and Fishes Food Pantry. I think we're ready for another picture. I'm trying to cycle through here. So I volunteer at the Kalamazoo Loaves and Fishes Food Pantry, and it's the first Thursday of every month. This past Thursday, I could not be there because I was going to be with my family. And I said to Judy Van Newstrom, she and Mary Breyer run the pantry. It's right on Burdick Street. I said, listen, here are the reasons why. I tried to keep the story short, right? The story short. But she said, immediately, I'm going to put your mom on our prayer circle. I just thought that was huge. I told my mom that it made her day. She knew that before her procedure. The fact that she knew that before the procedure, I thought was huge. All right, we're going to end with a little quote from Gandhi, and then we're going to get happy. We're going to get very happy here. And I'm going to not waste your time anymore. So this is my mom and Jen. Jen is my sister, of course, and we're in Pittsburgh. My sister and I went to Pittsburgh a couple of years ago to just hang out and have some brother-sister time. Little did I know, my parents came and surprised us. We had tickets for a Pirates game, and they showed up at the Pirates game. They just showed up unbeknownst to me. It was just such a fabulous moment. So anyway, here we are at a jazz bar in Pittsburgh. Okay, so let's quote Gandhi for a moment. I found this quote on the wall outside my mom's room, and I thought it was powerful. Gandhi says the following: live as if you were to die tomorrow. Learn as if you were to live forever. Live as if you were to die tomorrow. Learn as if you would live forever. I really like that. Okay, here we go. So my mom got an iPad a couple of years ago. I bought her one, and then my dad had to buy her a better one. It's okay. That's the way technology goes. But prior to that, my mom would write me, and she'd send me recipes, little things to maybe brighten my day, things to consider to do in my kitchen. So this happens to be a recipe for salmon. I picked it out. If you are interested, we can chat later. If you look at salmon and you say, I need something else, that's fine. But I thought this was kind of cute. And another little recipe that my mom sent me. These are southern sliders. Okay, southern sliders. Now, what the heck is a southern slider? It's made with black-eyed peas. It's sort of an alternate source of protein rather than meat. I have some vegetarian tendencies, but ladies, listen, I love my bacon, okay? Okay, so I will just end with this. Number one, thank you for your time. I appreciate being here with you, and know that this made not only my day, but certainly made my week, so please know that, and thank you. And you know, the best thing is I didn't cry, so I don't have to go home and tell all your friends, I saw the weatherman just lose it, you know? So anyway, when you're going through this process, my mom had two surgeons. One to get rid of her old implant. She was going to get a new implant. That'll happen at the end of the summer. The first surgeon removes the mastectomy on her right side, and there was a second surgeon to go in and clear up what was from several years ago. So in the moment, they run a quick lab test. They take out your lymph nodes, because you don't want cancer in your lymph nodes, because if it's there, it's probably everywhere, and that's just a different story altogether. So the initial diagnosis based on the eyeball test was that her lymph nodes were clean, right? They were clean, but you gotta run the lab, right? You gotta run the lab. So they run the lab in the moment. The lab in the moment also was negative, which was huge. But you have to run the full pathological exam, the full pathology exam. That takes about a week or so to get those details. Anyway, my mom's doctor, Dr. Boris, called her today to tell her that her pathology exam was negative. So happy for her. And we had a moment. She said she was going to have a crab cake later. So, ladies, listen, thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate it. Enjoy your night. Please tip your bartenders.